I'm doing, why I'm doing that voice. Hello, welcome. Um, this is episode 2, I guess. I'm actually probably gonna have to split this into 2 parts because turns out there's like more than I thought there would be that I wanted to go through, and I kept adding stuff. So soz about that, but I think that it's important that we go through everything properly. So what I've done is a PowerPoint, and I'll just do like the first section maybe tonight, and then the other section tomorrow. We'll see how we go. And the first one I just think is really important because it's about the types of abuse. There's just a lot of misrepresentation, and words are not working today. I guess like confusion about what is abuse, what's not abuse, all that kind of stuff. And I just thought that I would give a more detailed description, especially because stuff like financial abuse it's in there, like it's been in there for a bit, but it's more noticed now. And like coercive control, it's all like it's not new, like it's all been there, but it's just more recognized and understood, sort of, but like we're still learning a lot. So I thought that I would, yeah, go through that with you and let you know so that you might point out a few things that you didn't know were red flags and whatnot. So I'm going to do that. So here we go. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so the first one we've got is physical. So what I've done is like I've put like obviously a lot on each thing. It's quite a bit to sort of take in. There's like lots of different forms of lots of different abuse, but this is, I suppose, like a big list for each one, but it sadly is not exhaustive, so I'll just go through it. So for physical, you've got hitting, slapping, punching, kicking, hair pulling, biting, spitting, pushing, roughly handling, choking, use of weapons, scolding, burning, physical punishments, inappropriate or unlawful use of restraint, holding or trapping someone against their will, aka holding hostage, making someone purposely uncomfortable, example, opening a window or removing blankets, involuntary isolation or confinement, locking someone in a room or a car, misuse of medication, example, over sedation. That could actually probably also be alcohol as well. Sometimes people, apply people with alcohol to get them wasted so that they can, take advantage of them or whatever. Forcible feeding or withholding food, unauthorised restraint, restricting movement, like tying someone to a chair, damaging property, harming pets, violent lunging. It's very difficult to explain violent lunging. I've tried before, and it's kind of it's just hard to think of the word, so hopefully that helps what I've written there. So a sudden forceful movement forward, often with the intent to attack, injure or intimidate or scare. I don't really know how else to explain it, but hopefully you get it. I guess, like, obviously if there's any questions or whatever, people can always ask if they need clarification on anything. I did just want to mention as well, the harming pets thing has recently been added into family violence orders, I believe, and maybe there's just like parts of the legislation that specifically mention it, and it's just good to know because I know that's not been recognised for a long time, and I know that a lot of people struggle, especially like people that have got kids and stuff. They don't want to risk taking their kids away from the animals or whatever. And then on that note, I wanted to also mention that for anyone that didn't know, there's this program called Safe Beds, which is basically for that purpose. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. So, like, if there's an animal, if you've got a pet, and then you need to, like, escape and you're scared to leave the animal, understandably, they actually can, like, get that pet in with a foster family temporarily, just until you can find, like, a safe space for that pet to go to. I did it with Jet. They were incredible. Can't speak higher of them, to be honest. Yeah, like, I think we all, well, not all, but like probably a lot of us can acknowledge how hard it is to leave our pets and stuff when we leave relationships as well. And yeah, like, just it's important that you know that there is now a really good way for them to be kept safe from perpetrators as well. So yeah, look, it made a world of difference for me being able to do certain things. So I just wanted to let you know that. Okay, next. Okay, so then we've got emotional and psychological. So insults, humiliation, constant criticism, threats of harm or abandonment, gaslighting, we're all probably quite familiar with that. Making someone doubt reality, deliberately undermining someone's confidence or ability to trust themselves. Name calling, insults, put downs, threatening self-harm, oh, this is a huge one, self-harm, suicide, or harm to the victim, another family member, or a pet. Ridiculing, rejecting, or shaming someone, such as their body, beliefs, skills, friends, sexuality, occupation, identity, or cultural background. Intentionally embarrassing or undermining them in front of others. Just another quick one. The relationship I had quite a while back was, I just wanted to mention specifically, I had a huge problem with that in, you know how, I don't know if you know, but hopefully you don't, but anyway, a lot of the time with an abuser, once they break up with someone, they will talk absolute shit about people, to their friends, to their families, to anyone who will listen, and they will, like, talk down this person and basically be like, oh, you know, she's crazy or whatever. You know, just really, it's, I guess, like, it's a form of the gaslighting, but it's just something I wanted to point out because it's a real known but not talked about enough issue, I think. And it's definitely a pattern as well. So, like, but I think the reason that I wanted to mention that was, if you are with someone and then, like, you notice that they talk crap about their ex, like, just be aware that that's potentially not a great thing. That might be a sign, it might not, but, like, it's just something that I overlooked a few times. And yeah, it's just like another thing that might come up that you can potentially think that it means something else. And then don't be shocked when it more than likely probably will happen when you leave the person as well. Where am I? Making someone feel guilty, threatening to out someone's gender, sexuality, intersex status, or HIV status to their family, friends, community, or workplace. Questioning someone in a hostile way. Actually, the hostile way, that's probably, like, that's a good one. Like, you know, the whole sarcasm, like, when people talk back to you and, like, I don't know, I've had that before where they're very patronising and talking down to you and stuff. I think that's what that means. Handling guns or weapons in front of someone, threatening to report someone to authorities such as immigration, child protection, or Centrelink. Another huge one that people don't realise is actually abuse. Stalking, following you in their car, or checking your phone without your knowledge. Okay, Okay. With the stalking one, just, I guess, like, trust your gut as well, because people are really good at telling others that they're overreacting when they're not. Like, if you feel like something's happening, like, just trust that. I mean, like, of course, there's going to be times where we're on alert too high and, you know, maybe we are overreacting, but I feel like it's always going to be better to, you know, trust your instincts and, you know, just be careful with stuff like that. If you feel like there's someone following you or whatever, like some odd, like, vehicle that you've seen a lot, like, just, I don't know, just, like, try to make a note of it and just, yeah, just trust yourself. Don't like, dismiss yourself as being paranoid or anything like that, because you're probably not. Coercive control. So this one's very, again, not exhaustive, and coercive control is, like I said, it's relatively new in the legislation, so it's like kind of still new to everybody and hard to explain. So these things will probably overlap a few other ones as well. Isolating you from friends and family, depriving you of basic needs such as food, monitoring your time, monitoring you via online communication tools or spyware, tracking your location via apps or sometimes even under your vehicle. I do go into that a little bit later. Taking control over aspects of your everyday life, such as where you can go, who you can see, what you can wear, and what you can, and when you can sleep. Depriving you of access to support services, such as medical services. Repeatedly putting you down, such as saying you're worthless. Humiliating, degrading, or dehumanizing you. Controlling your finances, making threats or intimidating you. Sexual coercion. Driving recklessly. Huge one that a lot of people I've noticed have experienced, but no one talks about it, because I feel, I think, this is just me personally, I feel like I always thought it was unusual and I could never talk about it, because, like, people would just think I was, like, some terrible person, because, like, why would I put, I don't know, like, it just, I felt very alone with this. But don't, if you experience this is absolutely, like, a red flag. It's very dangerous and it definitely shouldn't be overlooked. So, yeah, driving recklessly, sometimes even with children in the car. So, I mean, like, again, it's obviously, like, you are trapped, you can't do anything, you obviously just want to get out of that situation. It's one of the scariest things ever. I've sadly been through that way too many times, and it's just terrifying. So don't feel like you can't tell people if you're experiencing that and you need help with sort of like how to handle it. It's a huge thing, huge thing. Using language to isolate, control, or frighten someone, creating a pattern of behaviour that makes the victim feel unsafe and dependent on the abuser. Okay, verbal abuse. Alright, so there's probably a few that have overlapped here, because I've got a few. I was looking at a few different spots. So sorry, just some double up here. Yelling, name calling, degrading comments, constant put downs in private or public, insults and name calling, using derogatory terms, cruel nicknames to devalue someone, belittling and mocking, making fun of a person's appearance, intelligence, actions, beliefs, or other characteristics to make them feel worthless. Yelling and shouting. Sorry if you can hear any like wiggling. That's Jet. He's annoying. Stop it. Sorry about that. You probably can't even hear it, and now I've just made a big friggin' scene now of nothing. And I've lost where I was. Okay, I'm just gonna go back a bit. Yelling and shouting. Yep, deja vu. I've literally put it as the first thing. Sorry, loud, aggressive communication intended to intimidate and control. Yep, you get the idea. Gaslighting. So verbal is hard because there's obviously a lot of overlap with a lot of different types of abuse. So it's just, but that's okay. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily to mention them over and over again, because then people can, you know, it might just like trigger your brain one time to think of, oh, that's this type of abuse, and then another time, oh, that's this type. Like, it's just good to educate yourself. gaslighting, manipulating someone into questioning their own memory, perception, or sanity by denying events. Oh, huge thing. Misremembering facts or accusing them of being crazy. Okay, yeah, so this is what I was going on about before. Yeah, the whole freaking denying. Okay, not just me. I've had, I think, 2 or 3 people experience this as well, and it just baffles me. Absolutely baffles me when you've got cold hard proof of something, and like you confront someone and they just like to your face look you straight in the eye and just flat out are like, that's not me, or that wasn't me, or like they literally, like, they're so confident in their persuasion that it really does make you kind of second guess yourself. And then I don't know, like, I've just, oh man, that, like, I swear that helped drag it out as long as it did for myself. With both my last 2 relationships, actually, like, it's a real head fuck. Threats and blackmail, using words to threaten physical or sexual harm to the victim or their loved ones. And I've put this in red, or to threaten negative consequences like being reported to the authorities. And I put that in red because it's very important, because I'm sure a lot of people know that the most dangerous time is when you leave someone, but it's also actually the lead up to it. Like, you've got to know, like, not you've got to know, but like, you just got to be careful about when and how you approach that topic. Like, if you say, oh, I'll call the cops or whatever, like, you just yeah, like, it's a dangerous time. So I guess I just wanted to make sure as well, because like a lot of the time people will be sort of like all talk in a way, like they'll, talk a big game and never follow through, and so you'll be like, oh yeah, like, they would never do that, but then, just takes one time for them to snap, and then they do, whether it's in their control or not. So just don't ever overestimate threats, I guess, and yeah, just be safe, I guess, as much as you can be. I will also be going through, like, sometime soon-ish, like a safety plan and how that will work and what to do, because I just in case there's anyone out there, like, there probably isn't, but just in case, like, anyone's listening to this that needs help, like, this is why I'm doing this, okay? Alright, criticisms and put downs, repeatedly criticizing someone's decisions, actions, or personality to undermine their confidence and self-worth. Discriminatory language, using derogatory remarks or inappropriate language related to someone's protected characteristics such as race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. Sulking or withholding communication, refusing to speak or be, oh, this is a nasty one, refusing to speak or be kind until a demand is met, which is a way to manipulate and control behaviour. Yeah, so like the silent treatment is a huge weapon, actually, that people use. Yeah, it's a lot can be said with silence, I guess. I don't really know how else to say what I'm trying to think. Or what? Trying to say what I'm thinking. It's just like, yeah, the sulking and the, it has to be there. It's very bratty behaviour, like a toddler or something. Yeah, like, I get it. If anyone's experienced that or is experiencing that, I definitely can relate to that. It's very hard to know how to behave, and it's very hard to just let it go as well, because it makes you very angry. I for one cannot go to sleep on an argument. I just can't. I'm just not that kind of person. So yeah, it used to aggravate me quite a lot. Financial and economic abuse. Okay, there's a lot in here. The reason I've put it all in here is I feel like this is like a real unknown, like, the severity of this is crazy. This is what actually leads a lot of people to, like, suicide, and it just basically has a horrible ripple effect, and I'm sure, like, anyone experiencing it, going through this, will probably get a bit, of a hit of, oh my god, like, this, I really hope no one does, but, like, Anyway, okay, so I'm just going to go through it all. Again, like if anyone has any questions about any of this, or if you're just kind of like, I don't know if that is though, like if you want to just like have a chat or whatever, just let me know. Alright, so there's lots of different types. So controlling access to money, bank accounts, or essentials, preventing someone from working or studying, forcing someone into debt or taking their income, restricting access to bank accounts or credit cards, taking control of all household finances, providing a small allowance or denying funds for basic needs like food or medicine, hiding money or assets, pressuring or tricking someone into signing documents or making false declarations, coercing someone to be a loan guarantor or co-director of a company, accumulating debt on shared accounts or in a person's name, stealing money or property, such as taking a loan that is never repaid, preventing or limiting a person's ability to work, earn income, or attend job training, taking a person's salary or pension, refusing to contribute to household income or pay child support, selling a person's property and keeping the proceeds. You'll notice that obviously is quite common with like estates and stuff, so elder abuse, and I'm sure like so many people have had issues with family disputes and wills being contested and all sorts of stuff. It's horrible. Using or stealing inheritance or property without permission. That one's a bit of a soft topic for me right now. Pressuring someone to change their will or other legal arrangements, being isolated from friends, family, and support networks, forcing you to use leave at work to care for kids, but it's not an even playing field, so I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, but I put that one on there because a huge impact on me. Like you have to, it really has to be a team effort with kids. I think we all know that. And one person having to take the very limited sick leave that we get for, kids, not even ourselves, like it comes out of personal leave. It becomes really, really unfair sometimes when, one person has to do it all the time and the other one doesn't. And then it may feel like it wouldn't have an impact, but it really does. Like, sorry. Yeah, that ripple effect is huge. Like, it'll, they'll be like, oh, I'll cover this, so it won't matter if you don't get that or whatever. And then there's just always going to be ways that it falls down and it will get bigger and bigger and bigger, the issue, and then you'll get run down, and then you won't have any leave for you for when you get sick, and then your work might suffer, and then before you know it, like you're probably losing your job or close to it or something like that. So yeah, like please, just if you ever feel like it's not even or not fair or like whatever, like just have a chat with the other person and talk it through, because like it does matter. It may not seem like it does, but it definitely does, and it all has a huge impact in the end. Okay, and then I've just put on here, this one's actually it's continued, but this is actually red flags for people to look out for, because this is also a very difficult one for people to know and be like, oh crap, like, that is financial abuse. For some reason, I think it's like our pride or something, like we just don't like to admit that, and it's also, we get very ashamed for some reason. So this is really just, if any of this stuff's going on right now, just like have a think about it, write it down, like don't dismiss it. So feeling guilty, foolish, or afraid about managing money, losing confidence in your ability to manage finances, not having input into financial decisions or your future, feeling you need permission to spend money, being too scared to question them about how or where money has been spent, putting your own needs aside to spend the money on them in order to keep them happy, huge thing that I used to go through a lot. Feeling pressured to get joint accounts, share transactions, etc. when you are not comfortable doing so because you know how it always ends. And by that, I mean the fact, like, oh, we'll get this shared, I don't know, investment or item or transaction and we'll go halves, but then we don't never go halves because like that other person their half ends up going on crap, and then like you have to cover the half. You know, I think if you know, you know. Right. Okay. Sexual abuse. So this one's obviously a bit hard to go through, but you know, just take a break if you need to. Like, it's obviously a bit of a difficult topic anyway, all of this, but yeah, I think it's just important we go through it. All right, so this is all classed as sexual abuse. Rape, including being forced to perform unwanted sexual acts or to have sex with others, pressuring someone to agree to have sex / sexual coercion, unwanted touching of sexual or private parts, disclosing intimate knowledge, including threatening to share private photographs or information about sexual orientation to generate fear, expecting someone to have sex as a form of reconciliation after using violence against them. Huge one as well, just by the way, for anyone who's at the very pointy end of like abuse, if there's like physical or whatever, like this is a huge way that they try to get you back in, and can often start the cycle off again. Yeah, basically pushing out the time before you feel like you're ready to escape again. Having sex with someone without consent or who is unable to give consent due to age, ability, or intoxication. Withholding intimacy as punishment, stealthing, so that's removing condom with or without their knowledge and against the victim's will, also a form of rape. So just by that, like, I think most people know what stealthing is. Usually it's like without people's knowledge, but it actually can be with that as well. Like, if they're pressuring someone, you know, if that person doesn't want that to happen, but they're too scared to, you know, stop it or whatever, that's still rape. Anything sexual without consent, even just one component of sex, still counts as abuse. So, you know, if it's, oh, I want you to do the, you know, XYZ, but like, you know, I want you to do this part, but how am I trying to say this? Hang on. So, like, I guess it might be a component of foreplay, for example, that you are not comfortable doing. You just don't want to do it. You've made it really clear that you don't want to do it. But if they're sort of like pressuring you to do that, like, and like they won't give you sex unless you go through that. I don't know. Like, this is just an example, but that's definitely still abuse. And then technology, digital abuse. I've just mentioned this stuff, which I think is already been through there already, but just again, this is probably going to move into like the safety plan stuff when I do get around to talking about that. This kind of stuff will come up. So very, very important. Again, this comes down to you're not paranoid. If you've got a weird instinct, trust it, trust your gut. So technology, digital abuse, stalking through GPS or spyware. It does happen, guys, like it really does. You know, people can track IP addresses, they can put cameras, like you know, like it's not about making people paranoid. It's just like, don't ever think that people would never do that, because like you just never know. Harassment via text, emails, or social media, releasing or threatening to release private info, images, monitoring you via online communication tools or spyware, tracking your location via apps, or sometimes even in or under your vehicle. And yes, I did remember that I mentioned that earlier. I've mentioned it again because, again, this is actually something very, very common that is being found to happen. People are having their cars tracked without their knowledge. So just, I guess, be careful. Again, it's just something you never think would happen, but it does happen. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to stop that one there. It's been a bit. Just going to close this and then we'll finish that one up. Okay, I always forget that when I press record it takes a second, so I'm just like mid-talk and then I probably cut in after that. I'm very tired, sorry. My plan was to have this done today during the day, and then you know, life. And then I just kept getting stupid ideas because that's just what my head does. Anyway, so hopefully that's a little bit helpful, just in regards to understanding the different types. Like I said, there's so many. That's not even all of them. Like, there's so many, but that was, I guess, the most relevant and maybe the ones that I could talk to the most as well. But there's still so much more, and there probably will be new things coming out as well, sadly. So my brain is shutting down. Yeah, yeah. I'll show you my happy dog. Yeah. Yeah. So this is Jet. Oh Jesus, come here. Come here. He's not, like, I was going to say he's not usually this stupid, but he is. Come here. Oh my god, he came up here the other day. Oh, and like I walked in and he was just sitting on the chair and just like swinging like this. Now he just went in. I'm like, come here. Okay, anyway. Can't even see because he's black. Check. It's funny, the other day, like, just tell you a little story, why not? It was like, because my child still to this day will not let me sleep in my bed alone, okay? And Jet, like at night, he sleeps in his little bed in his crate thing, just at the end of the bed. And where the lights are, like, they shine into our room and hit him. Like, if he's standing up, oh my god, birds suck. When the light hits his eyes, it makes them glow like possums, like, you know, possums and kangaroos and shit. Anyway, so like the other day, Aurora was like being a turd and not going to sleep again, and I was just trying so hard to, like, I kept reading. I read like 5 books, and then we got to the end and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And then Jet like stood up and stretched, and as he did, like, it was windy, so I guess like there must have been something flew, I don't know, we've got sensor lights, so the sensor light came on and it like smacked him in the face, like, and he was like, ugh. And then it made his eyes all glowy, and Aurora was like, she goes, I don't like it, they're too flashy, I don't like the flashy lights. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, Jet. And like I looked at him and he's like got these creepy glowing eyes, and she's like, I don't like the glowy flashy lights. And I was like, sorry, I can't help his eyeballs, like, what am I gonna do? I was like, he's fine. And then she like got mad at me. She was eating at the time because of course she's always eating. And then she like got mad at me and like threw, I think it was like popcorn or something, threw it at me, and then like went under the covers and started snoring. So like could have just done that the whole time. Anyway, that was a boring as hell story. Sorry about that. Yeah, can't remember what I was even going to say before that. Anyway, alright, so the next part of it was family violence orders. So initially that's what this was going to just be about, but then I got obviously a bit carried away. So the idea is next time with the orders I've got like an explanation about, you know, the different types, so police initiated versus self-initiated, how they work, what's involved, and I also decided I want to go through like stuff like bail conditions and like scenarios that could potentially be on there. I just think it's all very important because we are all very overwhelmed by the idea of such a huge thing, you know, when you have to report someone or when you have to get an order or whatever. And people just, I think, a lot of the time feel like it's too stressful or too hard or whatever. And it is stressful, don't get me wrong, like it absolutely is. But maybe I can help just to clarify a few things and also just like explain the difference, because it can be really freaking confusing how there's different types and who initiates what and what differences that means. There's pros and cons to both, I will tell you right now. Yeah, like the self-initiated, you've got a lot more knowledge, I guess, of what happens. after the order's done. Police, not so much. But then there's pros and cons to both. Like, you know, police initiated ones, you technically don't have to be involved in any of it, but that's also not the best thing sometimes. So that's why I want to go through it. I'm very sorry that I'm so tired, half asleep. If anyone has any questions, please shoot me a message. Please like, share, whatever you think will help get the word out there. Yeah, I don't know if anyone knows anyone, even if you just know someone that's struggling, that, you know, just one person. I just want to make it really clear that even just helping one person, that's the whole point of this. I'm going to shut up now because I will not stop talking otherwise. Thank you for watching. So yeah, tomorrow I will do the other part. And yeah, be safe and let me know if you need anything, and I'm here to support you. And shit, sorry. Alright, I'm gonna go now. Good night. Bye.